Yes, right.
They say.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
good. How are you doing? Felix. Hello. How are you? Thanks. Why is this
We did it again. It's True Story Night. Tonight's theme. So what happened was, I was in the Albertsons and Journey's "Don't Stop Believin" came on, and stuck in my head for about 2 weeks. The song, and it was very annoying. What's that?
Now you're gonna make it sick, aren't
Yep.
you?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I was, it was the last True Story, and I was trying to come up with a theme for the next month, and that song wouldn't get out of my head, and I just thought, you know what, Don't Stop Believin'. is kind of a great theme. It's a great prompt. It's about so many things. And now everyone will be annoyed at me. Let's just do it. So that's what happened. And we actually postponed them because we just finished a run of production in the space. If anyone came to see it.
Two stop. Yeah.
Two Stop by David Johann. It's a great production. Our space is completely transformed. And if you came and supported it, thank you so much. Our theater's doing really, really well right now. I'm so proud of us. I'm proud of the way we've come back from the pandemic, the way we've come back and participating in the theater community. And True Story has been a big part of it because new audiences, new voices, and anything you can say to help us keep this program alive is much appreciated. So for those of you watching at home, if you can donate, there's a button somewhere. And for those of you who are here, thank you so much for donating. And there's free wine and Prescott out there for you. Whoever brought the Prescott, God bless you. So do I need to say anything else? Here's what I didn't expect with Don't Believe In is the range of stories. They're all about faith and self and friends and love and spirituality. It's just a huge range of stories, and they're all wonderful. And we have two people that have never read stories on their stage before. So Jackie and Robert. Thanks for being brave and vulnerable and willing and open. It's been a joy to work with all of you, absolutely all of you. Nicholas has done our veterans events for this first time in the January rotation for True Story, and I'm so excited and proud to have him here. Things seen by people, and they surprise me every time. So I'm gonna stop talking now. And first up is Raphael Clemens.
When I hear the phrase, "Don't stop believing," my eyes roll. I immediately think of the 1981 song made famous by Journey and sung by Steve Perry. I hate rock anthems. Songs that are played ad nauseum on commercial radio, co-opted by advertising firms, and placed in commercials selling everything from cures for erectile dysfunction to pickup trucks, or lifted and plugged into every other television show or film to punctuate the same climactic moments. Songs that are blasted incessantly from every ball field and sports arena in the country. And with this particular song, Don't Stop Believing. What? It sounds like a can-do love fest where hundreds of people in a stadium grab each other around the waist and swing back and forth, swinging and singing together in a giant circle jerk broadcast live on national television. Then I calm down and I think, wow, why do you dislike this song? Listening to you two doesn't generate the same kind of loathing, so I don't hate all rock anthems. Being honest, the song makes me think of Steve Perry. I think about his magnificent voice, and I admit, I love the sound, and I'm jealous. As a teenager, I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to be a gyrating, wild-haired, band-fronting rock satyr. But I never followed through on that dream. I never learned to play an instrument. I can't read or write music. I don't write songs. And I've never been in a band. There's also the fact that singing and dancing in front of people terrifies me. Always has. Singing has always felt like a confessional set to music. You aren't hiding behind a character. You are revealing your innermost secrets to the world. And if the world rejects your song, they're rejecting you. You're not hiding behind a character that you've created in a play or a movie. It always terrified me to be that open and vulnerable to the audience. And great singers do that every single time. So I envy Perry's ability. And with just his voice, engendered millions of people to love him. So, what do you do when you lack the requisites needed to be a singer in a rock band, but you still want to get your rock thing going? You do the next best thing, karaoke. Anyone can hold a microphone and stand in front of a video monitor, singing along to pre-recorded accompaniment. My first time doing karaoke was at the end of year employee picnic. I was going to get over my fear of singing in front of people if it was the last thing I did. Participants that day were an IT technician, and strumming blow-up plastic guitars. Next was a podiatrist who managed to get all 300 employees on their feet, up dancing along with Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson's Uptown Funk. Everyone was having a great time. I had to follow the podiatrist. The DJ announced, "You all dancing so hard, the foot doctor is gonna have to examine y'all's feet." Next up, it's Raphael singing. Climbing up the stairs to the stage and turning to face the multitude, my stomach was churning. The anxiety was flying through my throat. The only thing I'm thinking over and over again is, don't do a Jamaican accent. I'm not Jamaican. Everybody knows I'm not Jamaican. I will look so lame if I try to sound like Bob Marley. Please do not do a Jamaican accent. The opening chorus of the acoustic guitar flow from the speakers. I grab the microphone tightly. I scan the room. I avoid direct eye contact with everyone. The first lines of the song appear on the monitor. On pirates, yes, they're so to the merchant. I am screaming into the microphone, and what to my ear was the worst thing that I've heard. It was a drunken Louis Armstrong and Carol Channing mixed up in a funky West Indian patois, blasting from the speakers, and it caused feedback. The reactions from the audience were varied. There were screams of surprise and pain. A startled someone crashed into a folding table, sending a pile of hot dogs and bowl of coleslaw flying in the air. Others covered their ears with notes. I plowed through that song. I was totally committed. There was no way I'm stopping, regardless of the sounds emanating from it. At one point, I realized that folks, they aren't getting the profound message that this song was trying to offer. So I decided to slow it down and emphasize each word. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Now I sounded like a drunk little shit. After what seemed longer than the 4-minute runtime of the song, go. The DJ takes the mic. Well, that was a spirited rendition of Redemption Song. Let's give it up for Raphael. There is epic applause throughout the audience. A single, oh yeah! I numbly make my way down the stage and I head towards avoiding. I sit down with some work friends. They're quiet for a moment. Gwen in accounting, she offers congratulations. That was good. Cynthia, the director of business services, she gives me a kind smile. She says, "You really did that thing." Greg from purchasing, he spurts out, "Whoa, you fully committed to that. I really admire you." I munch on my hamburger. I felt like I had fixed myself and that all eyes on that room, in that room, were on me. Until the next person came to the mic. And just as quick as that, it was all forgotten. After I got over the sheer terror and embarrassment, I had a good laugh too. Imagining what I must have looked like on stage, I would have laughed too. Potato sack race was about to start in a few minutes, and as Cynthia and I walked together, starting line, she said how much fun it was watching the karaoke and how she would never have the nerve to get in front of anyone and sing. Same here, I told her. But I figured today's the day to face that fear, get my moment in the spotlight. I'm happy to report that I've done karaoke several times since that employee picnic. It's no longer terrifying to sing in public. And each time, I think I'm getting a little closer. Well, I am getting a little closer to being completely open with the audience. Now, the next goal is to perform with band. Anything's possible.
I'm gonna be a projector from up here. Hi. I'll be hosting from the audience. Awesome, Raphael. We have a karaoke night. A true story karaoke night. Yeah. Gordon Henderson, would you like to share a story?
Make an acknowledgement here that you will see pictures in my presentation, and these pictures are great for bird watchers, and they were taken by my friend Toad Ray, his mother and father named him Mark. Thank you, Toad. My grandfather's father was a man of the cloth who spent a lot of time praying before the family supper. In fact, he spent so much time praying that his family never ate a hot meal. As a result, my grandfather and his brother, Don, a magician who claimed to have invented the paint swatch, both raised their children, which included my mom, without religion. My father, a man of science, preferred being outdoors to being confined in a place of worship. Coincidentally, there was a church on the corner, a couple doors down from ours. One Sunday morning, my father and I saw a beautiful car in the church parking lot. It was a 1950s MG. We walked over to take a closer look, and a man pulled up and parked inside. He got out, my father addressed him, saying something like, "Good morning, and isn't this a nice car?" The man looked at him and looked away, just walked away, saying nothing. As the man walked away, my father turned to me and said, loud enough for the man to hear, "Who is that can't appreciate a fine car?" So we didn't have religion, but truly we believed. First taste of religion via my best friend, Toad Ray. Toad Ray's family was just in mine, but his older brother John had a little trouble fitting in at school, and so he was shifted off to a Quaker boarding school. I remember him coming home during school breaks with the longest haired, stonedest looking bunch of freaks I'd ever seen, which is to say, I admired them. On these breaks, the boarding school guys would hole up in John's small, increasingly smoke-filled room and write all over the walls. Ordinary earthly concerns such as eating, working in the bathroom, did not seem to interest them. Obviously, the boarding school experience had worked out. So when Toad was of age, he went off to boarding school too. At the end of the school year, when he came back, he was beaming and eager to discuss what he learned. He came back with Toad and his family to dinner at the Brown Curtain. As we were leaving, Toad announced that he changed for the better. He was carrying a whole basket of bread to the table, which he placed on top of the car. After we'd driven away and the bread was still on the car, I agreed that he changed for the better. By contrast, I could not reasonably make such a boast. In fact, my school year ended with a sort of fist fight with the one friend I had, who thereafter I would not call a friend. But things were looking up. In the fall, I would be going to boarding school with Toad. I was sure to have plenty of new friends there. This was, after all, a friend's school. Boarding school was made possible thanks largely to my mom, with whom I had gone door to door canvassing so that a levy would pass and she would still have a job to pay for my school. I even got a job as a busboy at a 24-hour diner called Perkins Pancake House. Incidentally, my sister worked there too. When we started, neither one of us knew much about crime. But we learned a lot of that. Before leaving for school, my mother took Toad and I to a restaurant called the Flagpole. After we ordered, Toad and I got up to the restroom. I the stalls, stood on the toilet, and started kicking the toilet flusher, calling out, "I'm drowning! I'm drowning!" The guy came running in from the restaurant, slammed the door against the wall, and yelled, "What the hell is going on in here?" Toad and I looked at him. Really, he was older, tougher, and more worldly than we had, but we had earned his respect. Puerile antics. We went back to the table where my mom, the same character, was suppressing laughter. We sat down and she asked, "So, how did you go in the restroom?" Toad and I looked at each other and that what did not go well was boarding school. The general feeling of it was somewhere between a Renaissance fair and the Stanford experiment. But the friend part of it was nice. Within a week, I had my new friend and family. Most of them were still part of my life. There were two things my new friends and I all had in common: that we were the products of shaky parenting, and that we all tended to move the furniture around whenever we entered the room. We were together all the time. Doing schoolwork, sports, meeting for worship, extended silence unless called upon to speak, eating in the dining room, fulfilling our work crew obligations, and most importantly, engaging in an insatiable quest for forbidden pleasures. It may be that. That's brilliant.
Is that the wrong side?
Yeah, but it is worth noting he played dead from time to time. Go on to the next. Okay. They engaged in an insatiable quest for forbidden pleasures. It may have been this last part, in combination with psychic dislocation of being part of a religious community, that led to my movement. If we were to put this in psychological terms, we could say I lacked the tools needed to cope with the situation. It should be noted that I wasn't the only one melting down. Principal Bob, a large man who carried a long flashlight in the hope of catching in clandestine acts with very little success, unraveled before our very eyes. There was a lot of bad feeling in the air and strange incidents abounding. After a rash of thefts and a school-wide interrogation, classes stopped altogether. It was bad. But then something unexpected happened. In Bible class, the teacher, a true mystic named Bill, told the class that one of his former students had phoned him at 3 a.m. to tell him that he'd rewritten the Bible. Bill, being a gentle person, read the young man's efforts and declared it terrible. I thought, that would be even worse. So that's what I did. I rewrote the Bible for one of my school notebooks. I left out all the religious parts. Mine was a very loose. Initially, this wasn't different from any number of other shenanigans I understood, like kicking the toilet flusher and declaring that was drowning or moving the furniture around when I ended. But when I sat down to write, I had an epiphany. I was an artist, and it didn't matter that I didn't have any artistic skills to speak of. This was my most decisive act at the time. I had been in a negative frame of mind, and rewriting the Bible was a positive step. A couple of weeks later, the studio ended and we all went home. Soon after that, I got a letter signed by Bob, formally asking me not to return. I'd been excommunicated. I won't say that Bob didn't hurt, but now I was an artist, and art means never having to say sorry. Over the next 2 years, I wrote 4 books of the Bible. I was very serious about it, but it was not intended to be seen by the public. When they were finished, I put them in a suitcase which I hid under my bed. Let's look at them again this week. What was in them, you may well wonder. Nonsense. Page after page after page of mostly illegible nonsense. I transcribed an excerpt which I'd like to share. It's called Citizen Atmosphere. Hey, listen, well, me and my friends and me, we were in the car and this insurance book came by and asked us directions. So we told him, and as he was walking away, a sort of reflex action, we threw a rock at him. And we all left. The next morning, we went to Indiana. The weather was nice. We slept in the back of a car, a station wagon, a trailer camp. As we woke the next morning, we saw flashing lights, and everybody lit up. We thought it was the cops. But with the yellow light, it got denser and denser. I stood up and I said, just say this. Extraterrestrials are friendly. Existentialists are very friendly. They look for a way to be accepted by you. The light got denser. We sat in a circle and bowed our heads, and then voices came, and they were friendly enough. At first, it was 2 voices, and then one voice said over that this world is not big enough for 2 of us. We all looked up, and there it was, their ship. It had wings and a sign on the outside that said, "Citizen Atmosphere, we don't need." I like that insert. Because it proves that I wasn't crazy. I never stopped believing. So maybe I'm not unlike my great grandfather, who was a man of cloth. Only my family eats a lot of hot meals, and we do our worshiping with paintbrushes, pencils, and ink.
Now welcome for first down to the True Story stage.
Thanks for listening and tuning in. So, this is, oh wait, actually, I almost forgot one thing. This is my everything journal of the year. It's almost out of blank pages, and it is chock full of insights, musings, random little Tokyo store maps, and my post-therapy session notes. So I will be sharing post-session entries from different points of the last few years. The first entry is from a self-reflection piece I wrote a year into going back to therapy. It's been a lifelong thing. I played that voice for far too long. This one's dated December 16th, 2021. I have a very pretty voice. That's what I've been told. I'm not sure that I'm aware of how the timbre of my voice lands on the ears of others. But then again, sometimes I use it to my advantage. Just rip it out a little more and perfect. You have a pin. I know this must all sound so egotistical, but I'm only saying these things because I've never really believed these things. What is in a voice anyway? It's not even about the voice. It's about what the voice is saying. What are they speaking for? What does that voice stand for? What does my voice stand for? What is yours? I'm going to share the second entry. In my second entry, I recall a memory that allowed me to recognize my voice always had the capacity to feel. That my words carry weight and how my words affect people. October 26th, 2022. I'm the person who leads people through their emotions. Never really knew how I got here, but here I am. My therapist asked me to journal after session today, and I almost forgot about it, but then I randomly thought of that first, one of the first heal people line, and I'm like, ooh, that'd be a good line for an opening to the scene, because my writer artist brain is always on. Also, instead of avoiding my feelings like I usually do, this is actually helpful. I'm always encouraging people to get their feelings out constructively because holding that shit in can't be good all the time. I would like to open my heart more to myself. Like, yes, keep it real and keep it going, but from a place of good intentions and not from a place of lack or fear, which I usually veer off to. That's why I hit all these mental because my map is being redrawn and my internal GPS is rerouting. It just doesn't go fast. But things that take time take time. As Courtney Barnett says. At least I think that's the title for the album. I was able to share it in sessions today about what happened with my mom the day after my sister's wedding. About how I led her out of a panic attack after her trip about Sophia at Lily's wedding. It really is an iceberg, and it really boggles my mind. What is that secret my mom can't reveal until my Thea dies?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like, whoa, red flags. What happened in the past? And why am I finding out this way? And why am I the one leading my own mother through exercises? All I can think about is seeing my mom on the bathroom floor when I was 12 years old, and every other sibling in the house didn't want to be there while she was having another tantrum. And I'm in the bathroom crying, watching my mother convulse and wail dramatically. And what more could I have done other than cradle her while dousing rubbing alcohol on her temples? Also, she was drunk, something she hardly was, since she knew the dangers of being with an abusive alcoholic man. But this one Cinco de Mayo, after having one too many coronas at a neighbor's carne asada, here comes my mom, wearing a freaking sombrero, and my sisters and I are in the living room looking at her like, what the fuck, mom? And then she keeps going off about her being a mariachi singer at the end of the party, and then all of a sudden, mom disappears again into the bathroom, and I go check, and yep, she's about to have one of her attacks again. No one really wants to deal with it, and I'm remorseful, so I sit on the bathroom floor and cradle my mom as she has another panic attack. But she calls it epilepsy, so she mutters for me to get her her epilepsy pills because she's having another attack. And I don't really remember the rest of the night, but I think she kept up the corona eventually. After that, her panic attacks would come and go, and maybe there'd be a flare-up every couple of months. And years went by, and we all got older, and while the family drama was alive, thankfully, mom's panic attacks phased out. But, yeah, like a volcano, whatever had to come to the surface Had to get out somehow. Whatever the secret is, feels like a Pandora's box type of situation. That's how I led my mom out of her most recent episode after my sister. This final entry explores the constant reminder to self that my choice in using my empowered voice will always and continue to make an impact. Only if I don't stop believing. October 5th, 2023. I'm riding on the E-line after coming back from tech rehearsal from Town Street Theater's Playfest. The film fest is tomorrow, and it's like canvas and screening, like for the first time ever. Like, say what? Jackie made a movie? Oh, well. I haven't been able to process any of this at all. I'm nervous and excited and relieved, to say the least. I feel so drained. I want to enjoy all the good, but I've been down and out for so long that I haven't felt the sun shine. It's always this thing or that. And ultimately, the things that do or do not happen are affected by choice, by my actions and decisions, knowingly or unknowingly. We live in the day by day. Those who've grown accustomed to surviving. I am really tired of surviving. Half the time, I wonder how I got here. Then I remember, oh, it's me. I get disappointed in myself. And then I look at where I'm at in life as validation of where I'm going or where I want to be. And that is so not how it's supposed to be. I'm trying to unlearn all of that and recognize that the beauty in life is waking up to it. Like, my ripples will set off other ripples type of shit, you know? Like, ancestral wounds healing and cycles completely type of shit. Because that's pretty dope. Just gotta keep moving forward. Never losing sight of my internal purpose, my North Star. Maybe I'll be ready to open my heart up to myself soon. But as for now, I'll go eat lunch.
Is that high enough? A little higher? I just want to be able to have your face in the light and not looking down. Yeah. Yeah. Start to hit Nicholas.
Thank you for being here. This is a story of the darkest night of my life. It's Oh Dark Night. End of my rope. Best way to say it. Heavy sighs marked my mornings. Sleepless nights spent tossing while dreading, pressing the 4 numbers on the keypad that let me in the door. Ear protection and goggles, identifying scarlet appendages of my corporate self. I started smoking again. Needed a vacation. 2 weeks in Europe was the plan. First stop, Amsterdam. Some hash and the just what the doctor ordered. Work shit. Kind of shit that stinks so bad. You still smell it when you get it. It's on your clothes, in your relationships, on your soul. Got called into the office the day before my flight. Senior manager said I was slipping. Asked her. Wasn't my fault. Employees ambushed her in the town hall. 2% annual raises weren't my idea of how you show value. Nor theirs. Yes, I could have won. They were thieves. Didn't matter. All I had was 12 hours left. One not so quick flight across the sea, then I'd be free. Walking through the red light district, sipping mushroom tea. Only question in my mind, as far as I could see, was if my Euro girlfriend would let me indulge on the other side of those neon rose-colored windows. And it was Easter week. I'd land on Good Friday. Being a good Catholic, figured it'd be best if I stayed away from those Valentine lights until Easter Monday. Before I left work for the night, I take a bow right there in the middle of the manufacturing. Knew the cameras could see. Handed the keys to the shift lead guy. Told him to walk me out. I thought I was being followed. Didn't know if I was quitting. The flight would clear my mind. Shit up, Rabbit, fast. Dad called. Mine was racing, not his, mine. Scrambled, driving in circles. Couldn't figure out if I was flying out of LAX or Bob Hope. Got confused, trying to relay the plan today. My fail safe. Not normal. He hopscotched the globe so much, I knew he'd extract me from any location. No questions asked. Only he knew. He would know where my real destination was. I couldn't even remember. Felt like being followed by a flying saucer, tractor beam, cooking my brain like the fried egg in that bullshit commercial from the 80s. And that's when the voices started. Psychic attack. It was as if a common fairy witness had taken over my head. I could hear them musing over me, who I was, how they remake me. Let me back. There was a girl I met online, French, with eye wrinkles that remained after she stopped smiling, liked to wear floppy hats, blonde, Hollywood type. We've been on one day, took her to the Tokyo Day at Santa Anita race. Fell in love immediately. Tend to do that. Told her about it yesterday. Said I was canceling the trip. She urged me not to. Suggested it'd be best if I went to Europe and broke up with my girl there. Moving fast didn't bother her. Told me the French are known for it. Only gripe she had was my job. Sounded like a real deal breaker. Frenchie called me on my birthday. Wanted to wish me a happy. I'd driven to Universal Studios. Born Day tour was the plan. First time I heard the voice, I was standing at the ticket window, and my head broke open. A voice spoke from what felt like over-ear headphones, told me to ask for a discount. Secret word to access Star, or to describe the tenor. Felt like a friend. Said I was auditioning at Hollywood, was psychic, and gave me commands. Followed almost every one of them like a child playing a course on a studio lot course. Object of the game was to hear each command. If I could follow them, I'd become a Tinseltown actor. Ended up eating at Bubba Gump's in Universal City. Voice said, I'll have the executives pick up the pin. Said I should walk out. Only command didn't follow. Of course, I thought Frenchie had arranged the whole thing. Being a well-known art director, exhilarating. Who doesn't want to be hot? Took me a lot of fun. Called her in the parking lot, talking a mile a minute. Told her I'd gone psychic. Could hear her town speak. Asked her if I could move. She said she had to back away. I haven't spoken to her since. Last thing she said before that birthday was if I didn't work so much, she'd let me move in. Couldn't get it out of my head. That damn job. needed this vacation. And she was there too, floating on my brain like a pregnant olive in a Greco martini. Stay quiet. Just her friend spoke as I did figure eights on 101, telling her everything about me, my secrets, fears. Finally made it to a mall in Ventura. Did circles in the stores listening to telepathic radio, looking for Ray-Ban. It must have taken hours to get. Mrs. Plain spent days on my couch, ruminations rushing over me like a raging locomotive from my subconscious. Night, walked across the street to grab some Japanese was maybe Korean. I can't remember. Made it back home. I snapped into those food-filled white cartons with red ink and tea tops like a Nigerian and some white pussy trying to get a green card. Dark night of my life. I remember it well. And if I close my eyes, I can take you there. Internal combustion. A force breaks through my spine like a tightly coiled cobra fleeing its cage. No epidural. Head spinning, round and round. So fast I can't see. Dizzy. Foam collected at the corners of my mouth. Cardiopulmonary strangulation. Thumping of my heart echoing in my ears like a speeding metronome. Echocardiogram. Brain waves full. Every ear pours full. Thoughts of God spill to the floor. Jealousy, rage, tradition. Nothing makes sense. Legs dangling off the corner of the bed. Revolutions of the room increase velocity. Won't stop. Rooms too dark to see. Large hands that look like bird feet wrap around my abdomen. Cradle. A celestial voice whispers, I want to be here. Intensity doesn't disappear. I settle into the scramble, seeing myself being held. Not only that, the form of what's holding me. It's not earthly. Seated, legs extended. I can't make out the face. And the head looks like there's a crown built into it. It stood maybe 8 or 9 feet. My body is stabilized, yet I'm spinning 100 times worse than your first thought. Kundalini. That means the being vanishes. Only a voice remains, more commanding than comforting. Rise from the bed. It says, I'm powerless. No scared. I feel small. Heavy metal in my life. I have to follow the order. That's all I know. I round the corner of the wooden vestibule and see my body dead, lying on the floor next to takeout cartons, and crouch to examine myself. So then I've been snuffed. There's that voice again. Lie down. Not what you can argue. I lie down on my lifeless body. I'm the watcher, seeing myself lying on myself. I get up. The voice echoes. Judgment drapes me. It fearfully rises from the ground. Body's still there. Now I'm not in it. One more time, I'm ordered to lie down. Try again. Slowly placing myself directly on top of my dead. Not good enough. I can sense it. Up one more time, the voice demands. Shame covers me, feeling tired. Shrimp. I obey. I lie down on top of my cooling corpse and sink in. Feels like I'm falling. Gone. She killed me. Must have been the cage. Alive. On the road. I don't remember leaving the apartment. And the windows open. And the cold wind whipping my face like those treasured few moments before MDMA. No cell phone. no wow. Just me and that voice looming louder than the city I'm lost. Los Angeles, far bigger than I am. Voice is different. Sounds exactly like a Hollywood star. I'm his new best friend. Says, you got courage under fire. Tells me, you've been alone a long time. Keep driving. He urges. I trust him. I want to believe he's free. Been locked in a corporate dungeon over 3 years. Should have never taken that job. Now, I'm free. Edge of insanity. Says he's going to put me up in one of those skyscraping apartment buildings. They're Warner Brothers. I'm going to lose my place. Termination letter. Make sure. It's been weeks since I'm gone. He knows this. Knows everything. Los Angeles is a Lego place. He's a superhero, moving pieces, and I'm one. Feel your air. His voice, comfort. Deep, dry, open highway. I want to show you my city. Tell him. Car slows. Not sure if it's my idea, but I stop. I pull up from the parking. I'm Paul Newman. This is cool hand look. I look up. Massive curves, stainless steel panels cut through the night sky. This concert music. It's beautiful. Back on the road, not in control. Automatic pilot. Next stop, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Tim, feels like I'm at the days. Voice morphs, unrecognizable, no longer outside my head. As I steer my corporate carriage, hand Toyota Camry through the entrance, the voice says, stop the car. It's not a parking space. It's a checkpoint, like the ones with those symbolic guards of affluence in the gated communities. I obey. There's no security. Feels like I'm going under. I'm drowsy. I exit the car, leaving the door open, and the light stays on. Seconds go by. Now I'm standing in front of 2 chiseled bronze statues. And someone's watching over me. Shoot yourself, the voice says from the gun inside my head. I'm the firing pin. I pull the trigger any minute. Just feels like football fields deserted. Can't fight. I'm done. Something snaps me out of the daze. I drunkenly walk back to the camera. Still there. Doors, lights. Back in the car. The engine started. City's too big. Endless highway. Been driving for miles. No direction. Finally, it's pulled into the heart. Same thing. Gun pull. Can't resist. I'm out of the car. I'm sweating. I walk to the water. Unaware. Jump! It says again. Faith breaks the spell. I'm fighting for my life. My own voice rises from regions unknown. Nothing stronger than my God. I utter aloud. Jump! It says loud. Say it again. Nothing stronger than my God. Repeat it over and over again. It boxes. Jump. Jump. Jump.
Really, really, thank you.
I received an early call the morning of February 17, 2016. It was from my brother's case manager in Madison, Wisconsin. Bill had passed away during the night. He was 56. I was numb, and in the tone of tragedy, flatly thanked the caller and collapsed in my wife's arms with the sad news. Bill was developmentally disabled, born in 1959, a time when many advocated for institutionalizing those kinds of family members. My parents were told, families don't attempt to raise a child like that. But they chose to do their best to raise him, to give him a home, a family, a chance to learn, himself, dress, make a bed, feed himself. His first years were unspeakably tough. To say he was a typical toddler would be a profound understatement. It was in those early days that my parents learned the hard truth about their family. Doctors, psychologists, specialists, all participated in slow, sober diagnosis. I was 2 years younger, and just the first few wild child years. But being so close in age, he was my roommate, playmate. Bill loved storytelling and fictional accounts of the world. We played games of make-believe as children, and he never stopped asking me if anything about what might happen if our father, or neighbor, or local store were caught up in some fantastic. And what if he stole a car, a boat, hopped on an unscheduled plane ride, made off with a stranger's dog? The more wild or mischievous, the better the story. He would laugh. Percussive, lethal, full-throated, instantly drawing slanted, and often disapproving looks from strangers. Our father was a salesman, and both my parents had an easy manner with people. Observing their openness, Bill made that part of who he was. He would talk to the policemen, store clerks, movie attendants, bus drivers, and virtually any dog. In the late 1960s, my family traveled the Pennsylvania Turnpike to visit relatives. At rest stops, the bikers were targets of his curiosity. Those conspicuous long-haired types seemed to be of particular interest. He approached many with a loud, "Hey, hippie!" Most ignored him or gave him a small nod, while some engaged him impatiently over mute and listened. Where are you going? Why is your hair so long? Where do you work? Are you married? Why are you dressed funny? Can I look at your wallet? That's love. And when he passed, I discovered his home was an exploding trifold time machine, packed with business cards, a record of his hundreds of meetings, encounters, inquisitions, job interviews. I've kept it because I don't know what to do with such a personal and loving possession. No questions for Bill's too private, too personal. He did not have a social filter. He was an open book and assumed the rest of the words. Bill is a complicated guy, an enigma, jovial and loud, full of laughter to a stranger, often moody and restless without the form of someone new. He was an anxious person, and that was he understood just enough, but not enough to understand why the world meant so much. Freedom to live his own life, make financial decisions, navigate a relationship, choose a city to live in, things we all take for granted. He did many of those things with very success. His work ethic could be stunningly sharp and focused. Too often he would derail his best situation. Not laziness, but out of boredom. We all work. Often work is a drudgery, a predictable routine. We live with that. We find the balance between work and our personal world. We grind through it. This was something Bill never perfected. Jobs available to him were difficult: dishwasher, laundry worker, grocery vendor, and things always seemed greener at the next developments. Without any real say, he would pull on the levers of his life he could control, and he to destroy his best situations, pull up his own votes, and sink his chances for a better gig on the next round of job searching. And he loved the searching. He was obsessed with the potential of something different, new personalities, places and challenges, new business cards to add to his collection. There were worrisome years, driven by his obsessive compulsive diagnosis and calls for attention. Many spotted with work incidents, self-problems, feeds of 911 calls. Some culminating in his time at the state hospital. Bill struggled with his weight. And one of his frequent pastimes was panhandling for a few dollars to pay for a jar of olives, a couple of pizzas, almost a vinegar, a pecan pie, several blocks of cheese, not consumed in the city. He could read and write just enough to complete a job application or make out a bus route, contact someone, or find a location that mattered to him. It was uncanny. Remember a birthday, find an address, a phone number, track something, applied for a credit card, and sent him. One of his favorite was a bank across town. For several months, he would take a stream of connecting buses, chat and hang out, polish off a full pot of the coffee creamers, and eventually. He had a network of allies who believed him. Many came and went, but a small list of friends kept close, and the telephone was his lifeline. Calling friends, family, co-workers, taking sometimes basis. In his final years, he high school trips, but even a dozen calls a day was always starting with, "Hi, this is Bill calling," as though that was necessary. He answered the voicemail prompts just enough to deliver his message. Despite this urgency, the calls were often fleeting, filled with the same. Yeah, and a few detached ahs, followed by an bringing things to a sudden close. It was often not the content. It was hearing the voices, connecting, shoring up his, pushing away his own unique needs. Bill is often quoted in our family in tribute to his teasing questions, statements. "I'm going to steal that car, Rob. Rob, you can't stop me. I drank all the eggnog. I did something bad." Most of his declarations were challenges. Cleverly taunted, even older, just to see the response, hoping for a response. So much of his energy was engaged, caring, so that he could turn around and see that we were there. Sometimes, too often living in the wake of his life. Bill taught me patience, how to let my guard down, how to be comfortable in the most uncomfortable ways, how to forgive an unforgivable act. He challenged me to accept being honored and dissent, to laugh at the nonsense. I loved surprises. So we could not have been more excited when he asked me to be my best friend, a role he handled with humor. But in many other periods of his life, I was expected. Phone call, annual 4th of July, or Christmas visit. When we were kids, Bill and I played the card game Concentration. It's a memory game with flip cards and try to remember what the characters is. It's hard for the game so much that he would not be able to keep up. So remember the cards well enough. But not unlike a lot of things, he was exceptionally good at this game. I miss the small victories, but most of all, how he was transformed by many fantastical tales he shared. I'd watch as his face grew blacker, eyes and mouth softening for a grinning question mark. Hopeful I would double down on today's argument. This to larger, longer, civic heights, never wanting to practice it. His playful cadence ebbs and flows deep inside my head, still teasing, still good. I'm gonna steal that elephant. I'm gonna find my time. You can't stop.
Jackie.
Your first time. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. We are here the next, we're the first Sunday of August 4th, I believe is the next one, and the theme will be, it's a big country. Yeah, right? Thanks again. There's wine, there's peanuts or something, there's props from our last show out to eat. Thank you.